Hello my lovelies, today's video is going to be a reading vlog. I have never done a reading vlog for just one specific book before, but one of my friends has just recently started her own book club on Instagram called Feeling My Shelf. Just before the beginning of each month, she will post a theme on her Instagram and people will comment what sort of books they'd like to read to do with that theme, and then she'll put a poll on her Instagram story to vote for the book of the month. So it's just one book a month. She picks the theme, but we vote for the books that we want to read. October's theme is something spooky, and I suggested doing something Shirley Jackson since I had recently read The Haunting on Hill House and I'd like that. So we voted on different Shirley Jackson books, and what we ended up choosing was Shirley Jackson's The Lottery and Other Stories, which is a short story collection, which is also great because you can still discuss certain stories in the book without having to read the full book if you can't commit to the whole book this month. So I thought it would be fun to every month do a little reading vlog of the books we choose, and you can go support my friend on Instagram at Feeling My Shelf. It is the evening of the 21st of October and I'm just about to start reading this book.
Doubts have disappeared under street lights. Couldn't give a single fuck about those hard times. It's just delirium.
It is almost 10:30 on the 22nd and I've just finished reading through the first part of the stories. The stories are split up into 4 parts and I'm thinking I'm really liking it at the moment. I find the writing has a really good flow and it's almost comforting, even though in quite a few of the stories there isn't much happening. The only one that's had a hint of being like creepy was the demon lover, but the rest of them aren't like spooky or anything yet. I think they're meant to be unnerving, but I'm just finding the writing style comforting at the moment, so stick with it. So it's actually Friday the 25th and I have come home for the weekend, which is really nice. I come home about once a term and I'm continuing reading Shirley Jackson's The Lottery and Other Stories while I'm here. I am 102 pages in. I'm currently on The Flower Garden in part 2. It is quite a chunky story considering how short some of the other ones are. It's about 30 pages, so that's my aim for the night, to get that read. I had forgotten how goddamn cold it is in this room. I have got my duvet, 2 blankets and 2 dressing gowns on top to try and make myself cosy. It is the 29th of October. I am now back at uni and I've got some time before my lectures, so I'm going to carry on doing some reading of this. I am 183 pages in, so I've got about 120 pages left to read of it. I'm in the middle of reading Elizabeth, which is the chunkiest story in the collection, I think at 40 pages. So I really need to finish this before October finishes. I am still enjoying it. Just as I've got myself nice and comfy on the settee, I'm going to have to go outside in the cold for lectures, but I have just finished part 3 of the stories. I think in part 2 and part 3, my favourite stories were The Witch, Flower Garden, and The Dummy. I'm still liking all of them. I think Elizabeth, which was the 40-page one, dragged a little bit, but they are still continuing with that mundane, uneasy feel, but somehow with a comforting writing style.
Waiting here for you to come, will you save me? There's no sense in all I've done, but I won't change it, yeah. It's just delirium. Well, my homies came around with a 6-pack, told me about some shit like football and Bob Rocky, yeah. It's just delirium. Doubts have disappeared under street lights. Never gave a damn about any hard times. It's just delirium.
30th of October and I've just finished reading The Lottery and Other Stories. I really liked all the stories in part 4, Pillar of Salt being one of my favourites, and of course The Lottery turned out to be a really good story. On the back of the book it says The Lottery is one of the most wicked stories, and when you consider that this was 1949, it definitely is an out there story and a bold and chilling story to be told. The blurb also says that the stories are the creeping unease of lives squandered and the unspoken tales of everyday suburban life, and I think that really describes the stories really well, because a lot of them were just the unease of everyday life. So to end with The Lottery being a proper, I don't know whether the word I'm looking for is chilling or creepy, maybe wicked is the best word for The Lottery, but to end with The Lottery was a really good idea with these short stories because it's the most shocking that way. In this dilemma where I really like the vibe of the stories, I know they're meant to be creating an uneasy feel, but I actually found the writing style quite comforting, so I really like the stories and the vibe of them, but I feel like I can't give them like the highest star rating because nothing much happened in them, so I can't give them a high rating for the plot, but there's also nothing in them to give them a low rating. Apart from maybe Elizabeth dragging on a little bit, there was nothing in them that would bring that's bad. So it's really hard to rate because it's neither here nor there. So I think to balance that out, I'm going to give this 3.5 to 4 stars because I really liked the vibe and I can't explain why I really liked them because it's in the writing style and not the plot points or the characters or anything like that. So it's not something I can specifically point to being this is the reason why this is brilliantly starred. But there's also nothing in them that can to be the reason why it's low stars. There's nothing bad in them, so it's a really hard one to rate when I'm just rating it off the feel that the stories give me and I can't explain why. So I'm going to give it 3.5 to 4 stars because I really did like The Lottery. I think the term that Zara used, who was the admin of Feelingmyshelfbookclub, and I think it describes how I felt about this really well, that it's like cozy creepy. So that is the end of the reading vlog, and the poll has just gone up on Feeling My Shelf Book Club's Instagram to vote for the November book. It's going to be around the theme of witches, so it's going to take some deciding on which witchy book I want to read. But I'm going to go vote on that, and I'll see you in the next reading vlog.